Okay, so today we'll study about event monitoring in IIB. Okay, so monitoring is nothing but it is a kind of feature basically where we can log some events whenever a node is subjected to some transaction, right? Uh, basically, if we enable a monitoring for a particular flow, then if somebody invokes this particular web service and my message passes through these nodes, then we can have these nodes emit some events. Okay, and those events we can capture to basically maybe we can insert those events into database, or maybe we can send into some another application which can take care of monitoring. So these kind of things we do with the monitoring. So so whenever these events are emitted by these nodes, so those basically event messages will be published to a particular topic, right? So there is a defined structure for that particular topic. So uh, that topic will be having that topic string, which will look like this. Here you will provide your integration node name where your message flow will be deployed, whose monitoring you want to enable. In my case, this is test node ASH. If you see here, monitoring, then your flow name, right? In my case, the flow name is this gen.rest. Okay, so if we subscribe to this topic, okay, so what we can do if we subscribe this topic, then that particular event message which will be emitted by a particular node, we can receive that message on a queue, and once it is received on a queue, we can do anything with that message. We can insert the details into database, or we can do maybe some other activity to achieve the monitoring thing, right? So in IAB there are two types of events. First is terminal event. Second is transactional events. So terminal events are events that are emitted by terminals of node. There are, see, every node has some terminals, okay? So terminal events are events which can be emitted by the terminals of node. Second is transactional event. So transactional events are the events which are emitted by transaction, right? Whenever somebody invokes this web service, this is a web service, right? So somebody invokes this web service, one transaction starts, right? So we can have transaction starts with always starts with input node. So input node can emit a transaction start event message, right? So in the similar manner, it can also basically emit the transaction end kind of event message and transaction rollback. So transactional events are always controlled by uh, IIB using input node only. Okay, so we have two types of transactions. Two types of events: terminal events and transactional events. So whatever I am speaking theoretically will be pretty much clear when we'll do a practical example. Okay, so there are two ways of configuring the monitoring profile. One is through node property and other one is through monitoring profile. In this tutorial, we'll talk about the configuring this event monitoring using node property. So in IIB, if you see on each and every node, last property is monitoring. Okay, each and every node. You can see this property on each and every node available in IIB. The last property will be monitoring. So here we can configure some monitoring things so that we can receive some what say these transactional basically uh, transactional events or terminal events. So let's see, click add. Now here the event source, basically what kind of event we want to have. Okay, transaction start, transaction end, transaction rollback, right? So many transactions are there. Suppose we want to configure transaction start event, so we will select transaction start. Now this will be the event source address. It's nothing but basically it is a meaningful name, right? It is, explaining like in HTTP input node we are having a transactional start, we are configuring a transaction start event. Now this is the event name. Here we can choose anything which we want, like suppose this is transaction start, so I am choosing TS. TS is nothing but the transaction start. Okay. Now event filter, it may be true, false, or I mean, or we can choose a XPath. So true means basically we want this particular node to emit the transaction, then we'll choose it true. If we doesn't, if we don't want, then we'll choose it false. Or we can give a XPath basically which should evaluate to true or false, meaning that if I click on add it here, I can provide a path like suppose this web service is receiving a JSON input JSON message. So input root.json, root.json. Under that I have an element, suppose employee. Under that I have employee ID, and if the whole employee ID value is 1234. Okay. So if this is true, if in my input my employee ID is coming as 1234, then this statement will evaluate to true. If it is not 1234, then this statement will evaluate to false. Okay. So this way we can choose true false here. Okay. True means this node will emit the transaction. False means this node will not emit the transaction. So now event payload. Now somebody may invoke this web service using some payload, right? In input there there may be a JSON message, right? This web service is receiving a JSON request. So we can also have this node emit the payload. Okay. So we can choose to emit the payload. So we can provide the path which we want this node to emit, like JSON dot data. Okay. So this payload will be present in my event message. Now this is bitstream. This is nothing, this event message which is basically, I mean, the payload which is coming in input, we can also choose to receive it in the form of some basically encoded form. If we want to choose it in basically blob, then we can choose this. If we want to uh, basically receive it in base64 binary, we can receive it. So we'll see how this thing works. Okay. So I am currently choosing these things. Now on correlation tab, it's nothing but there are some transaction IDs. Here local transaction ID, parent transaction ID, global transaction ID. So here we can choose to provide some transaction IDs using which we, if suppose if we are logging the events into a database, so using those transaction IDs we can track our messages. Okay. So these transactions are present for the same purpose. I mean these transaction IDs option. Okay. So this is local transaction ID basically. If we choose it automatic, then a unique ID will be generated. Unique transaction ID will be generated, and using that we can track, or we can also specify from input. Maybe uh, suppose maybe in my header uh, some transaction ID is coming, right? Maybe some transaction ID is HTTP. This is HTTP. Okay. Suppose transaction ID is coming. Okay. So we can also choose that thing. Now click OK. Okay. Now save it. Now create a subscription which subscribe to this particular topic. Okay. Now there is one more thing. This particular topic string is specific to this integration node and this flow only. But if we want to make it generic, what we can do is we can basically, let me copy it. Instead of providing specific name, just write a plus symbol here and here write hash. Right, so this will work for any message flow which is present on any integration. Okay, so it is good to use this particular thing only, which is because this is not specific. Now go to my Explorer, MQ Explorer, create a subscription. No subscription. Sorry, is here will be subscription name. Give any name. Next, topic string is this. Destination name is, give any local queue name. I have already created one local queue with this name, so I am providing this name, event.subqueue. In my queues you can see this queue, event.subqueue, right? So whenever events will be emitted, event message will be received by this subscriber queue. Okay, now let me deploy it. I think I have deployed it. Okay, let me deploy it. Okay, the flow is deployed. Now I have to enable its monitoring, right? So in order to enable the monitoring, there is some command, right, using which we can enable the flow monitoring. So what is that command? It's mqsi change flow monitoring, then your integration node name, then your execution group name. In my case it is default, execution group name is default. Now after that you write application name is rest app, then you write flow name hyphen flow name gen dot rest app, then hyphen c active. Now how you can check if your monitoring is enabled? Same command, remove this thing and change it to report flow monitoring, mqsi report flow monitoring. Next, okay, you can see that my state is active. Now execute this flow. So this flow is nothing but this is creating some inserting the details of some employee into a database. Okay, so let me hit this flow now. Okay, my record, these records are inserted now. So let's see if some event message are received by my this queue, this subscriber queue. Browse. Okay, see one message is received. Let's see what is that message. See, so this is the event message. Okay, see, it contains so many details. Let me open this thing again. Yeah, see, this is also telling my broker version. Okay, my IAB version, it is 10.0.0.19, right? This is also telling my source address, right? This thing. Okay, this is also telling my event name TS, which I provided. Okay, this is also telling my transaction ID. See, transaction ID 001. From where it is coming? It is coming from header. See, transaction ID 001 because I provided this path in my transaction ID. Okay, so this is coming from here. What else it basically has? It is having my flow name, it is having my broker name, execution group name. Okay, it is having uh, this payload detail. Okay, I have selected payload detail from here. This whatever is present in my data is coming as payload. Okay, so my payload is also present, and plus hexadecimal. I I selected hexadecimal. Okay, hexadecimal is nothing but log. So here from here I selected this bit stream. Okay, so let's see what is that. See, this is if I convert it back to ASCII. See, I can see the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and decide what we can do with this particular flow. So this structure is fixed. Now we can create an application which can insert these details into database. Okay, so in database I have created a table which is called event records table, right? So here I have provided these columns: transaction ID, event name, broker name, execution group, message flow, payload. Payload is a blob type. Here we will insert this payload, this complete payload which is coming, right? This payload we will insert. Now here um, here we will insert the transaction ID which is present in my input. Okay, my transaction ID is present. Okay, transaction ID and event name, all these things basically all this information is present in my event message, and we can choose to insert them into the database so that we can every time track the records. Now let me very quickly create the database, I mean the application which can insert the details into the database. Okay, so let me name it event code app finish message flow. Okay, input will be MQ input, and input queue will be this subscriber queue. Okay, this queue, right? So that this message will be processed from here and will be inserted into database. What is my input structure? It is XML. Okay, so we are not going to do any transformation thing. We will just insert the details into database. So let's choose database node here. Here I will provide my DSN name. In my case it is local DB. Now open it. Okay, so here we will have to write some code, right? So let's quickly write some code. Let's declare some references first. In ref reference to my database node has root XML NSC XML NSC dot under XML NSC we have event. See, just look at this message, event, right? So first element is event, and this is the root element. Okay, everything is present into this element, and this is present into under some namespace, so that's why I provide this provided this star node. Okay, now declare uh, let's declare a reference to this point data element. I mean, this is you can choose the way you want to code. I'm just choosing my way. Reference to inref dot, what is the tag name, it's event point data. Copy, paste. Now declare another reference, bitstream, reference to inref dot, this is a different tag, this bitstream data. Okay, now let's insert the details into database. We have to insert transaction ID, event name, broker name, execution group, message flow, payload, event date. Okay, this date will provide by using a function current timestamp. Okay, now insert into database dot table name. What is the table name? Event records table. Okay, values. Now first value will be in ref. What is first value? Transaction ID. Transaction ID is present inside event, where it is, this is, yeah, under event point data, under this event correlation ID. Okay, so okay, under event point data we have this event data tag. Under event data tag we have this event correlation. Under event correlation we will have this local transaction ID. Okay, so this is one thing. Next is event name. Okay, so in ref let me copy to save time. Event name is under event identity dot name dot event name. Okay, event name. Okay, now next thing is broker name. So my broker name is here. Okay, under message flow data. Okay, so in ref pt data, copy message flow data thing. Where is this message flow data? Yeah, message flow data. Under that we'll have broker, and under that we have name. Now similarly execution group and message flow name. Control C, execution group. Okay, similarly message flow. Now the last thing is I mean, I think it is second last thing. This is bit stream. Under bit stream we will have this bit stream. Okay, bit stream. And the last thing is just insert this timestamp, current timestamp. I think we are done. Save this flow. Okay, now okay, I think everything is fine. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 things we have inserted. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, now let me deploy this app. The moment I will deploy it, this message will be processed. See, now the message is processed. Let's see. Let's see. See, my event is inserted, right? My transaction start event is inserted. If I again basically hit this transaction, if I try to basically insert some another employee, maybe it is Mark, send. For this event also, I can see the result in database, right? So, okay, let me basically close this flow. We are done with this flow. Let's open this flow again and let's have the event monitoring for transaction end also. Transaction end. This is transaction start. Now add for transaction end also. Transaction end. Give a T, right? True. Nothing. Correlation will be the same, which will take this local transaction correlation name. Okay, nothing, just keep it like that. Save it. Now another thing is we also want our message which is received by HTTP reply, right? Because that will be my output message. This message record inserted, right? I also want this. So click on HTTP reply, add. See, the message is received by its input terminal. So here we will use the terminal event. Okay, in terminal, this will be my final output transaction. Not final. Finally, we always transaction end, but this is my output transaction. We can name it like transaction out or anything which we want. Data location. Data location we can give anything. Root dot JSON dot data. Finish it. Now click OK. Okay. Click OK. And let me see what I provided. Let me choose it as blog. Now deploy it again. See, if my application is deployed again, then I have to again enable the flow monitoring, right? This is the concept with flow monitoring. Whenever you are redeploying, you have to enable it. So we can enable it using command, or there is another way. Open web user interface. Just navigate to your flow. REST app message flow. This is your message flow. Start flow monitoring. The flow monitoring is started now. Let me hit this. Let's browse the database. See, my transaction start event. Okay, here we can see the payload, which will be my input. Okay, this is my input, my payload. I can see it. this is my transaction out, this is the message out, final output message received by my HTTP reply, which is record inserted. Now this is finally my transaction end. Okay, so here I am basically monitoring my transaction, right? These are nothing but the audit logs. Here I can basically see that my transaction has successfully started, successfully sent the output message, and successfully ended. So here we can basically examine that my flow is behaving in a right way. Okay, so these are the things. Using transaction ID, basically we are sending an input header. We can choose basically we can retrieve the details where transaction ID is equal to, okay, and we can basically accordingly for every transaction we can change it because I am providing it in header. Okay, so this is my event monitoring using node properties. So in my next video I will be explaining you how we can basically configure monitoring using without using these node properties, right? There we will use event monitoring profiles. Okay, so in that case we don't have to provide anything here. We'll create some profile and basically we'll run some commands so that my monitoring will be configured. So for now, for this particular lecture, we have learned how we can, what is event monitoring and how we can enable basically configure it using the node property. Okay, so thanks guys for watching this video and stay tuned for next video.